Kenya, known for its vibrant culture and stunning landscapes, is facing a wave of unrest. These protests, known as Maandamano in Swahili, have gripped the nation, reflecting deep-seated frustrations among the population. The key drivers? A soaring cost of living, high unemployment rates, and a growing distrust of the government. The spark that ignited the protests was the controversial Finance Act 2023, perceived by many as insensitive to the plight of ordinary Kenyans. Fueled by social media and led by opposition figures, the Maandamano movement has united Kenyans from diverse backgrounds. They demand a change in government policies, calling for transparency, accountability, and economic relief. The protests have shaken the nation, forcing a reckoning with long-standing issues that can no longer be ignored. The government's response has been a mix of appeasement and force. While acknowledging the economic hardship, authorities have condemned the protests as unlawful and disruptive. The deployment of security forces to quell the demonstrations has led to clashes, further escalating tensions. The Maandamano protests are not just about economic grievances. They represent a larger struggle for social justice and political reform. The outcome of these protests will undoubtedly shape the future of Kenya for years to come. The Maandamano protests have brought several Kenyan cities to a standstill. Nairobi, the bustling capital, has witnessed some of the largest demonstrations. Key roads have been blocked by protesters, paralysing transportation and disrupting daily life. Businesses have been forced to shut down, fearing looting and vandalism. The iconic Uhuru Park, a symbol of Kenya's independence, has become a central point for protesters to gather and voice their grievances. Kisumu, a city in western Kenya and an opposition stronghold, has also been a hotbed of protests. The city has a history of political activism, and the Maandamano movement has resonated deeply with its residents. Demonstrations in Kisumu have often turned violent, with clashes between protesters and security forces resulting in injuries and arrests. Mombasa, a coastal city known for its tourism industry, has not been spared from the unrest. Protests in Mombasa have disrupted port operations, impacting trade and the economy. The tourism sector, already reeling from the effects of the pandemic, has been dealt a further blow, with tourists choosing to stay away amid safety concerns. The intensity of the protests in Nairobi, Kisumu and Mombasa underscores the widespread nature of the unrest. These cities, each representing a different facet of Kenya's social and economic landscape, have become the epicenters of the Maandamano movement. The Maandamano protests have taken a heavy toll on Kenya's economy. The disruption of business operations, particularly in major cities, has resulted in significant losses. Small and medium-sized enterprises, the backbone of the Kenyan economy, have been hit especially hard, with many struggling to recover. The closure of businesses has also led to job losses, further exacerbating the economic hardship faced by ordinary Kenyans. The transportation sector has been severely impacted. Blockades on major highways have disrupted the movement of goods and services, leading to supply chain disruptions and increased transportation costs. The tourism industry, a major source of foreign exchange for Kenya, has experienced a sharp decline in arrivals due to safety concerns. The uncertainty surrounding the protests has made investors wary, impacting foreign direct investment and further slowing down economic growth. The Kenyan shilling has also weakened against major currencies, reflecting the loss of confidence in the economy. The government's efforts to mitigate the economic fallout have been hampered by the ongoing protests and the political climate. The economic consequences of the Maandamano protests are far-reaching and will likely be felt for years to come.
The protests have really taken a toll on my business. It's been hard to keep the doors open when customers are afraid to come out. We've seen a significant drop in sales, and honestly, I'm not sure how much longer we can sustain this. I understand why people are protesting, but I just wish there was a way to voice our concerns without hurting local businesses. It's like we're caught in the middle of a storm with no clear way out. Every day, I wake up hoping for some good news, hoping that things will get better. But it's been challenging, to say the least. We need peace and stability to thrive, and right now that feels so far away.
We have been trying our best to maintain order, but it's not easy. The protests are intense, and we have to balance between enforcing the law and respecting people's right to demonstrate.
The protests are a clear indication of the public's dissatisfaction with the current administration. Moving forward, it will be crucial for the government to address these concerns to avoid further unrest. The political landscape is likely to change significantly as a result of these events.
These protests have really brought our community together. Despite the challenges, we've seen people supporting each other, sharing resources, and standing in solidarity. It's a powerful reminder of our resilience and unity.
The echoes of Maandamano will continue to resonate throughout Kenya, shaping the nation's future and reminding us of the power of collective action. As the country moves forward, the lessons learned from these protests will undoubtedly influence its path.